What's going on, y'all? Shane, Wyatt, and Zach here on the Motorsports Almanac weekend recap. Getting ready to go into probably our favorite week of the year, the National Farm Machinery Show. But we've got to talk about all the events that went on this past weekend. We had Pro Superstar Shootout. I got back from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Southern Invitational, and we also had Satsuma, Florida, going on this weekend. Fellas, let's just jump right into it. Wyatt, talk to us about Pro Superstar Shootout.
So, obviously, the second annual Pro Superstar Shootout presented by Skag Power Equipment. This year was a lot of ups and downs compared to the first year. Last year, it seemed like they couldn't do anything wrong. And this year, with team changes, sponsors waiting on where they want to spend their money, teams opting to not race at their event based upon they don't have chassis yet, or waiting on where their funding is going to be coming from or allocated to. It was just a different event this year. Pro Stock was great showing as usual, but Funny Car and Top Fuel was obviously down. Only 10 Funny Cars. There was supposed to be 9, but Bobby Bodie jumped into Del Risham's Funny Car to add to the 10th, and then only 9 Top Fuel cars compared to 13 on both sides last year. So numbers were obviously down in the fuel categories, but it didn't take away from the show that they put on at all. So starting with qualifying, Pro Stock, Corey Reed was number one qualifier at 6:49. We haven't seen that number in Pro Stock for quite some time. And for him being new to the class, it was great to see that. Austin Prock laid down the quickest run in history, 3:79, which is awesome to see because Jimmy Prock called his shot for that. And then Antron Brown, last session, put it to the top with a 3:64. And funny enough, none of them allocated that to race day, where Corey Reed went to the final, lost on a red light start because the car rolled forward, and lost to TJ Coughlin, who got in the last session, which, congrats TJ, he's had some bad luck. It's good to see him in the winner's circle. And then Funny Car, Ron Capps, of all guys to not qualify last year and come in and just lay it down on Austin and the rest of the field. It was great to see that. I call him the Iron Man, but Ron is just a great driver, and laying down consistently 86s all day long was just good to see. I can tell you a lot of people were scared of Austin, but Ron wasn't. And finally, Sean Reed and Josh Hart in the final Top Fuel. Josh has been struggling the last 2 years. The Arnold Carriers sponsored team, and made some changes and ran consistent the entire week. But Sean Reed and Rob Wendland, after the bad start to the weekend, Rob Wendland put the foot on the pedal and laid it on him. So Sean Reed getting his first ever fuel win, even though it was not an HRA event, becoming the second annual Pro Superstar Shootout winner for $250,000 is cool to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you the little bit that I got to watch was the Funny Cars and the Top Fuel Dragster exhibition runs. That was really interesting to see, but like you said, a lot of those guys, it doesn't matter where you get your first win in any of the classes. I mean, we all know that. You always remember them, and we'll always go back to that place. So that's really, really neat that they got it there at the second annual event, but overall great event, and that's going to set us up for World Series of Pro Mod coming up. It's in March, I think, isn't it?
It rolls from the end of February, the last 2 days of February, into the first 2 days of March.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Of course, we'll have coverage of that. We'll talk about that a little closer to time. As far as where I've been, I went to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Southern Invitational there again. Fantastic event like always. And a lot of the guys showed up and showed out from down here. California guys kind of ran the weekend, the Super Farm class. The 5.0 Pro Stocks put on a heck of a show indoors. The Fly You Fool took the win there. And Canadian Miss 3 is no longer a light pro stock. It's a light limited pro now. Kind of sad to see that. Was sad whenever they took away the 2 stacks from it, but now it's in the light limited pro category. Light limited supers. Everybody showed up all weekend long. Had a great weekend. 3.0 diesel trucks had a fantastic showing. 3.6s. Their first time indoors there at the Miller Coliseum. They put on a great show. Cody Thomas took the win there, and Super Stocks, the Phillipses swept the weekend, I think in number 1 and number 2 both nights. So that was a really fun weekend. Uh, talk about the elephant in the room, the Elpers family. They had their breakage with her Alice Chalmers. Hate to see that for anybody. But they'll be back soon, hopefully.
Beautiful tractor, and it just sucks to see.
Yeah.
But it was a funny Snapchat story when all the beer cans were on the hood. But
yeah, that was cool. Those you can't get that family down. You know, they run with us every once in a while on IPL up this way, and they're a great family, all of them.
Yeah, no. Seems like it's always the guys like that happens to. And I mean, I was down the starting line filming because they have the Alice Chalmers emblem in their tires. So I was taking a video of that off the starting line just to get it to see what it would look like. And all of a sudden I just hear this bang at the end. And I look up and I see a pipe and it's leaning this way. It's not standing like this anymore. I said, well, that might have been more than just a turbo. So really unfortunate luck for them. Hope they get back out soon. But we had another event going on this weekend besides the Pro Superstar Shootout, Satsuma, Florida. Again, they had some really good tractors down there this time of the year. It's kind of surprising for me, especially a week before the farm show. But they still had a great turnout down there. That 5-0 guys that were all in Murfreesboro. I think all of them ended up going except for Crow.
Plus Henry Smith went down with Sneaky Snake and whatever he calls the other one.
Radical Red.
Yeah. And then I watched the live stream Saturday and didn't catch it Friday night. Of course, you know, Larry Phillips took Brandon's Insanity down there and swept the weekend on it both nights with the light super and 3-0 trucks. I think there was 8 or 9 of them down there, if I remember right, or 7 or 8. They put on a good show. One thing impressed me about that place is which I know it had a lot of clay hauled in from Georgia, but for a Florida track, to see them 5-inch tractors just pick the front end up and go, you don't see that in the state of Florida very often, you know. And to watch the pan on Mark's sled and the dirt under the pan and stuff, you knew it was a good track. Chase won last night with the Mini, and then I forget who won the first night. I didn't see the video, but I seen it somewhere. But I know he had to go home or something like that. So
I think it was Kevin Hill, and he was involved in a motorcycle accident actually. Unfortunately, so our thoughts and prayers going out to him. I saw that on the Mid Florida page yesterday afternoon. But yeah, man, you're right. That was my first time watching that event, and I mean, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I can't say anything about it.
I was talking to Richard Crow on the phone this morning, and I'd love to figure out how to get people enticed to go down there. Especially now I get some dirt down there to get more numbers, I guess I'll say, in class.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You know, because I know I'd love to go down there and play in the wintertime. I
me too.
You know, but for what they had, I thought they had a good show. You know, Jason Forrester won last night with Papa Smurf in the Super Farm Mod Turbo class. And then the Super Farm from down there won the first night, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Is that thing a true Super Farm?
It is now. It's supposed to be running Grand National.
That's what I'd heard.
Really?
Probably the thing for the weekend for me, and he told me they were going to do it when I seen him at PRI, but Corey Forrester with his Ford Hemi's trying to make work with the mod. That's going to be fun to watch develop. So
yeah. There was another one down there that I didn't recognize.
It Maryland.
Pretty well brand new.
Yeah, it's a modern. I don't know if it's a new modern or he bought somebody's modern, but it's out of Maryland.
I'll tell you the one that I kind of thought it was a 75th edition at first.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of showed remnants of that, but I don't think it was.
No, I don't think it's a modern.
Yeah, it's got to be. But man, y'all know it's time. It's our favorite week of the year, the National Farm Machinery Show. I'll be arriving down there Tuesday night, I think, and then Wednesday we kick off the action strong. We'll have test passes about noon or so, I assume, like always. And then we'll roll right into the night, and we'll have a lot of fun. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video because that's going to be a full breakdown of all the classes and our picks going into the National Farm Machinery Show. But until then, make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and subscribing to all of our pages, and we will see y'all next week.